Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Timothy, and on this channel we speak everything personal finance. And I had an insane conversation at work yesterday, and it really just kind of blew my mind on how some people perceive certain areas where you live and how they perceive the area where they live. So let me give you the background. So my job, I work in the government, and everyone at my job makes the same pay, unless you're a supervisor or doing some other kind of detail. So everyone's making around, eventually you make around 100K a year. So everyone's making 100K a year. And everyone has different situations. Someone might have a wife that works and then they work, so they're making maybe 200K a year or 170 a year, depending on what their spouse makes. And then some people don't have their wives working, and it's just them working, or their husband's not working, or whoever it is. Everyone's situation is different. So I told one of my coworkers, a while ago, hey, you should look in the area I live in because, we have the duplexes and you could really house hack. Wife is works as a nurse, and you and your wife could really live in this neighborhood and come up on a lot of money by house hacking and lowering your expenses. So I tell him this was a couple years ago, and he comes back and it's all jokey kid, and he comes back and says, nah, my wife said, it's kind of the hood, I don't want to live around there. They kind of look at this as the hood. Mind you, they're from the hood. It came to me that they kind of look at where I live as the hood. So I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. I'm living here. I don't want too many people to move here, because then that's when property taxes go up and all kind of things like that go up. And I would like to keep the houses the way they are. The coworker doing well. They just bought a $300, almost $400,000 house about an hour away outside of the main city. Nice big house, $2,500. Probably end up being a $3,000 payment, HOA fees, I'm sure, with the kind of neighborhood it is. Just bought a Tesla. Like I said, wife has a great job, nurse. He's a government worker, whatever. Probably making 200K a year. Congrats, 31, 32, whatever. And he comes, hey, calls my name. We're all at the front counter, my job, wherever. Hey, you live in the hood, don't you? Oh man, here he goes with this again. It's all jokes, right? It's all jokes. Yeah, it's not the hood. People don't understand that even if it is the hood, there's always good sides and bad sides of wherever you live. So he called the hood. It's not the hood. Kind of just making fun of the location where I lived at. Looked up the location. Saw how cheap the houses were. Oh man, this house is 60K. What? That's crazy. Like, yeah, you and your wife could buy that, and a little passive income goes over their head, because no one's thinking about that. No one's thinking about actually earning passive income, actually investing into real estate. Everyone just wants to live the high class, or show as if they are high class. But it was just kind of interesting to me that they saw as the place where I live as the ghetto, the poor. You're making 100K a year, but yet you choose to live in this area. How are your schools? Yeah, the schools aren't great. And then he even pulled up how many sex offenders live in your area? Let's see. 30. Okay. How many are in your area? 8. Oh wow. Oh man. Yeah. So it was just interesting. And then another person was like, yeah, that's the ghetto. You gotta, would you let your wife run in the neighborhood at night? You gotta run around with a gun on your hip to live around here. It's insane, the thoughts and the perception they had on the area I live in. But they don't know that at 27, the net worth is almost at $200,000. It'll be there next year, most likely. Paying down student loans, I only have about 26K left. That'll be gone in about 2 years. Investing and saving almost 50% of my income because I chose to live in the hood. I want people to continue to think that, because I want to keep the prices low where I live. I want to keep the houses under $200,000 where I live and still live in a good, safe area. This is why I'm a big advocate of not judging a place that I've never been, or a place that I haven't been in a long time. Places change, people change, and the direction of the cities you live in change over time. And a lot of people that say this is the hood or where I live is the hood, or if you ever ask about where I live, and people generally say that's not a place you want to live, when was the last time they've been to this place? When was the last time they've actually drove through? When was the last time they actually ate here? When was the last time they actually shopped here? There's not much shopping to do. There's not much eating to do. But when was the last time they actually drove through here? They've never lived here. So you can't really judge a place just based off of what you hear other people talk about it from 20, 30 years ago. So it's just kind of interesting to me. And, I know I'm doing it right. I'm only 27. And I enjoy the place I live at. If you don't know, I house hack here. So before I moved here, I just looked up a place to house hack because I knew that if I want to become financially secure and obtain a lot of money and obtain a high net worth, that house hacking is the key, that taking care of your housing is the key. So at 24, when I bought this house, it was perfect because I was living for free and I still am living for free. I have not paid a mortgage in 3 years. So yes, we're all making the same amount of money, but my money feels different because it's not going to housing. I didn't go buy a new Tesla. I'm still in my 2002 Toyota Camry. My wife's in her 2008 Honda CR-V with no payments, and we're paying under $200 a month for insurance on the cars. So we have all this extra money to deploy into our investments, to deploy into our 401ks, to deploy into more real estate, to deploy into our child that's on the way, to deploy into vacations, to deploy into student loans. So we can pay $600, we can pay $1,000 to our student loans every month. We can pay our student loans off right now if we wanted to. We could pay them off right now if we wanted to, but we're not going to because it's a 4% interest rate. And that money will have a better use if put into the market. But my thing to you guys is live where you fit in where you fit in. Get into these low income neighborhoods, buy up the block, buy your duplex, get in before the prices go up. Because when you already buy into a high cost of living neighborhood with HOA fees, you're not gaining much wealth because you already bought at the top of the market. I bought in this neighborhood, 3 years ago, and to this day, I'm still seeing home prices rise. But yes, there's still houses that are under 100K, but not a lot anymore. So get into these neighborhoods before the prices start skyrocketing. And actually drive through these neighborhoods and not just thinking that it's the hood and that as soon as you walk outside, you're going to get shot. Because that's not the case. Yes, we have this. Look at this house. I don't know if you see this house. This is one house on this neighborhood. It looks like that. But the next one looks fine. And the one after that looks fine. And all the other ones look fine. It was just mind-blowing to me that people put so much thought into their houses and into all these things, and you just don't know, especially for first-time home buyers, that when you buy these houses, the mortgage stays the same, but your insurance, your property tax goes up, your HOA fees go up. So there's a lot of things you need to think about before you go buying a house. So just be sure to buy within your means. If you make a lot of money, buy a house below your means. Buy a house if they say you can afford a $400,000 house, buy a house that's $200,000 if that area calls for it, or just continue to rent. Because there's no point of putting all that money to a house when it can go to so many more things. And then wait till you start having kids, and then wait till you start having more responsibilities. Wait till your kids start going to daycare. All these things are going to hit you at once. So maybe your mortgage right now is $2,500, and then the next year you have a shortage because the property tax has increased in your area. Now you're paying $300 extra, $500 extra dollars on your housing payment. So now for a year you're paying $3,000 on your housing. You also just bought a car. Your car is about $500 to $700 a month. So now that's $3,500, $3,700. That's one person income in that couple going straight to housing and cars. You have to think about the utilities to actually keep this house running, to keep this 2,500 square foot house running. You have to think about all these other things, but then you also want to enjoy your life. You also want to go out to eat. You also want to, go on vacations. And then when you have a kid, your other spouse has to work because you can't take care of this big house by yourself. Your income can't do it alone. So then your kid has to go to daycare. How much is daycare in these affluent neighborhoods? $1,000 a kid, $1,500 a kid. So there's a lot of things that you have to think about when you go and buy a house. And just don't down people just because of where they live. You just don't know their situation or their whole plan. because I have the plan all laid out. We were able to buy another rental property because we're house hacking. Our net worth is on the rise every day. Every month, our net worth is going up because these houses are going up. Every month, our net worth is going up because our investment accounts are going up, because we're able to deploy so much money into our investment accounts. We're able to save so much money because we live in a lower income neighborhood, because we live in a lower costing neighborhood. So get in as soon as you can and look into these lower costing neighborhoods. Don't be afraid to drive through at night. Don't be afraid to drive and just check out these neighborhoods, because just by living in these more affluent neighborhoods, these nicer neighborhoods with the nicer schools, it's not always the best. One of the biggest things about the house hack, like I said, is able to save 50% of our income. My wife is able to have a part-time work from home job, and she can be a stay-at-home mom. She's going to be a stay-at-home mom. My wife does not have to work because we have the main things taken care of, which I always talk about, which is food, shelter, and transportation. These things are taken care of, which allow my wife to be a stay-at-home mom. Now, these other people, wives and spouses and husbands, they have to work, especially if they're living in these high-costing neighborhoods, because, like I said, you cannot take care of that house. You cannot take care of your house. You cannot take care of all the expenses that come with owning a home, and that comes with it, just life in general, by yourself. So my wife is able to stay at home and raise our child, and our child doesn't have to be raised by the daycare system. So it was just interesting to me that they were really like, wow, this is the hood. And, it was jokes, they probably weren't super serious, but at the same time, it did kind of reflect on their character and how they kind of think about life in general. A time when everyone's living off debt, a time when a lot of people are struggling. It's just different when you're living in a lower costing neighborhood, when your mortgage is, $700, $800. It's just different. When your payment is, $1,200, it's just a different feeling. It's a different freedom. It just feels better to just know that if something happened, if one spouse were to lose their job, we be good. So that's all I have to really say today. I bought my wife some Tim Horton donuts, and I bought her a coffee. Apparently, I was yelling at her when I was asleep. I don't know why I do this. I just spaz out when I'm sleeping. I don't know what I said. I woke up this morning to go to the gym, and I tried to give her a kiss. She says, kiss her on the hand, because I guess I was talking bad last night. So we're going to find out what I was talking about. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But also, where are you guys living? Are you guys living in a higher income neighborhood, or are you living in a lower income neighborhood?